everybody, and welcome back to Linda Tina TV. If it's not your first time here, if it is your first time, hello there. My name is Linda Tina. Do consider subscribing and clicking on that notification bell so that you are notified when I post a new video. My channel is a cocktail of things, so I'm sure you'll find something you like. In today's video, we're going to be talking about our fears. Not a very pleasant topic, but I feel it's a necessary topic. Also because I fear quite a lot. I fear very many things in life, but I have learned along the way that the only way you can overcome your fears is by actually facing them, being aware of them. That's the way to conquer them. And so I had this conversation on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do check out my page. I interact a lot there, so consider following me. But anyway, I had this conversation on my Instagram. I was asking people what they're afraid of, apart from death and illness of a family member or themselves, which is, I think, my biggest fear. Death and illness of a family member or people that I care about, people who are very close to me, and also of myself. But that aside, because I think it's a common fear for many, I wanted to know what other things are we afraid of in life and how can we overcome these fears. It was a very nice conversation because after asking people what they're afraid of, I also asked how people overcome these fears. And I thought it would be nice to share with you my YouTube family. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then stay tuned. So people had pretty much the same fears, which I'm going to be sharing with you. But first, I'll tell you about my own fears and how I overcome them. So one of my biggest fears I mentioned is death and illness of a family, but that one I can't control it. I have no control over it, so there's nothing I can do about that. When it comes and we'll deal with it when it comes. But the other fears are, one, I am afraid of failing my kids, like when they're grown up and I didn't do things right and they have to pay the consequences, or if they are not happy with how I did with them as a mother. It's one of my biggest fears. And the other fear is the fear of not reaching my full potential, because deep inside me, I feel like I have a potential to do so much that I am not doing yet. And so it makes me a little anxious, not knowing if I'll ever be able to reach that full potential and to be able to fulfill what my purpose and my calling is in this world. So, one, about the children, I find that knowing that I'm doing my best, which your best sometimes is not good enough, which your best may not be high up there according to the standards of God knows who, other mothers or your partner or your family or the teacher at school. Everyone has a pedestal. Everyone has a standard. And your standard and your parenting may not be to that standard. Even for your own children, they may not feel like you're good enough. But if you know that you're doing the best you can in your ability, it makes me sleep better at night. So that's how I deal with that. I know that I'm doing my best, and I know that my heart is so full of love and I want the best for them. So whatever I do, even if I don't do it right, I know that I'm doing it to the best of my ability and for their own good. Then how it turns out, I can't control that. And then when it comes to not reaching my full potential, I've been asking myself, first of all, what is my purpose? What do I think is my purpose? So first of all, finding your purpose and then working towards it has been the way that I'm trying to deal with the anxiety and the fear surrounding not knowing if I'll ever reach my full potential. And so I know that if I'm working towards it, even if I don't get there at some point, I don't know, if I don't get there, at least I was on my journey there, So that makes me also feel better. Now I'm going to share with you the fears that people shared with me on my Instagram and how they deal with them. So there was a lot about the fear of being alone. And by alone, I'm sure many of these people meant not having a partner. And for me, the fear of being alone, I feel like the way to conquer that is not focusing on having a partner as your forever, if that makes sense. I'll explain. You can be with a friend, and that is your soulmate, and that is the person who's going to be your life partner. You can have a child, you can have a pet, you can have, just a neighbor, someone. So your forever and your being alone doesn't have to be because you don't have a partner. You can still have a life partner who's not necessarily a romantic partner. I don't know if that made sense. And it was very nice that someone actually reached out to me and told me, oh, I had never looked at it like that. I had never looked at it that it doesn't have to be a romantic partner to, fill that space. It can be a best friend. It can be, someone you choose to share life with. And so if you're scared about being alone, obviously keep your heart open to meeting a partner, a romantic partner, because it's really nice and sweet to experience love and having that life partner. But if it doesn't come that way, remember that you can also have a life partner who's not necessarily a romantic partner. Then there was the fear of not being able to provide for their children. Of course, I have that fear as well, but I don't know why it's not that crazy for me, because I've seen that, I don't know, I think it's divine. Children somehow survive with even very little. I don't know, it somehow works itself out. I know this may sound very superficial, but things actually really do work themselves out when it comes to children. After that child is out, even before they're out, sometimes you don't even know how things happen. And I see that even with my mom, who was a single mom. And now when I ask her, how did you do it with all those kids and no much support? How did you do it? And she'll tell me, I don't know. But when you have children, things work themselves out. So that's the advice I gave my followers who told me they have that fear of not being able to provide for their children, that somehow things work themselves out. They just naturally do. The next one that very many people mentioned was the fear of mediocrity. So I feel like mostly millennials, we've been made to think that you have to be this big person doing big things in order to fit in and be happy or to be seen as important, which I don't believe is entirely true. You don't have to do extravagant, big, extra things and be this person making lots of money who has started these very big projects or big brands. You can do little things that will mean so much to you and the community. There is so much pressure, there is so much comparison about who's doing this, my peers, what are they doing, where am I in life? And it's making us extremely anxious, to be honest, because we think that we're supposed to be doing things that honestly sometimes are even out of our ability, because we have this pressure to be great. Now, first of all, you need to understand that great things take time. So maybe right now you're mediocre, but you are heading towards where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. My advice would be, do things that point you, that take you in the direction that you want to be. Right now, you feel like, okay, I'm being mediocre, but are you doing the best you can do in this moment to get where you want to be? And then don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different journey. Not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is going to be a CEO. Not everybody is going to be extremely rich. But that doesn't mean that those who are not on the other side are not happy. You understand? The definition of success is different for everyone, and happiness looks different for everyone. So try to chase your own happiness, your own dreams without comparing to others, but also set goals, put yourself in the direction where you want your life to end. But this fear of mediocrity, especially now in an era where everything is boom, 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 like if you're not booming, then you're not important. Find people who appreciate you, who you are, who are going to take you as you are, who are not going to need you to be a certain type of boom for them to feel like you're important. I hope that is helpful. Then next, there was fear of not being a good parent. I think we've already discussed that. Just do the best you can, and that's it. Lastly, which made me a little sad, which was also from a close friend, she said she is scared of being in love. And we had a conversation after she mentioned that she has the fear of being in love, and it was more of fear of losing that love, not the actual fact of being in love, but because we know that things never last, so she's scared of having a heartbreak. And when I dig deeper into this, most people who are afraid of being in love are people who have been hurt before in love. So they've probably had terrible heartbreaks, or people who have not had good examples of a flourishing love of a long period of time, or a genuine love. Or it's because you're surrounded by people who have had the same experiences, the same bad experiences, so you think, what's the point? And all I can say is we can never really know. This is going to sound a bit pessimistic, but it's just to say I live by this belief that nothing lasts forever, but both the good and the bad. So when the good thing is there, enjoy it, embrace it with your whole heart. And then when the bad times come, worry less, because you know at some point it's gonna end, it's gonna go away. And so similar to love, open your heart to love, enjoy it, because I feel like love is such a beautiful thing that it would be a pity for someone to be so scared of it that they, put barriers and not let themselves feel it. But while you're in love, enjoy it to the fullest, enjoy it so much, because it may or may not last. We can never really know. Some people have had there forever, and some haven't. So we can never really know, but that shouldn't be a limitation for us to enjoy things, the good things. And love is one of those very good things, one of the best things. So when she mentioned this, I actually felt a little sad, because I thought, wow, you're gonna block something so good because you're afraid of losing it before you even have it. And it's not a way to live. Fear is one of the ways, the easiest ways to limit yourself, your potential, because you're thinking, I won't make it anyway. And it's also one of the ways to be unhappy. It's one of the biggest causes of anxiety. And so you have to face it, be aware of it, be aware of what triggers you, what makes you scared, face it, have a plan, and try to be fearless, try to live out of fear, or even coexist with it, but in a healthy, happy way. I am a bit of an anxious person, but that is because I am so afraid of the unknown. And so I try to make things certain in my life, like have a plan, have a goal, but I can never be sure how things are going to go. So sometimes you just have to live in the moment, and what happens, happens. We can never really know. I don't know, I feel like I was rambling a lot in this video, but tell me some of your fears and how you conquer them down in the comment section. And if you like this, just give it a thumbs up and tell me what you thought about the video. See you in my next one. Bye bye. Be fearless.